Hi, I'm Suzy Badaracco, president of Culinary Tides. We are a fractional foresight and trends intelligence team for food and beverage and neighboring industries. This presentation is a condensed version of the full version I delivered at the Airport Experience Conference in March of 2025. In this shorter format, I'll walk you through the key insights and takeaways we covered so you can quickly get up to speed on the trends that matter most. If you'd like access to the full deck, there will be a QR code at the end of the presentation where you can request a copy. Or if you just want to learn more, feel free to reach out because let's keep the conversation going. And so let's start with Culinary Horizons, decoding flavor patterns for tomorrow's airport menus. We're going to talk about food and beverages, but first let's find out with both what's causing bolder flavors to turn up in food and beverage. We can trace this back to COVID. So think of behavior pre-COVID, so 2019 and before. If we were in this prolonged time period of inflation, bordering on recession, here's what we would normally do. Reactions would normally be for consumers, fear goes up, we emotionally shut down, we start to panic, and certainly our motivation drops. The actions then we've seen over and over in this when this occurs. Risk-taking drops, exploration and experimentation also drop. We stop traveling, and comfort food edges in. Comfort food, think of it as children's food, right? So this is not nostalgia. Comfort food is children's food, like macaroni and cheese, toasted cheese, very simple pizzas. It's children's food. Hot dogs, plain hot dog, that's children's food. That's comfort food. But because we've come through a pandemic, it's forever changed behaviors. Our fear set point has been raised. So we are less reactive now when things happen. We are cautious, but there's no emotional shutdown. We are stressed out, but we're not panicked. And our motivation is unaffected. That translates into actions where risk taking is tempered but remains strong. Exploration and experimentation also remain strong, those drivers. Travel has not stopped, and that's good because that causes global flavors to continue to come into the country. And also, we still see extremes on the palate. So, citrus, chilies, heat, spice, all are very strong drivers right now for consumers. But how do they actually come to life? Mintel, among others, is one who is over and over and over shown that consumers actively are seeking out spicy and bold flavored foods and beverages. But what's the tone of the menu or the products? So at the top, are you aiming for adventure and excitement through taste? Or thrilling comfort, right? So it's comfort in the backbone, but spice and heat added. Maybe you're trying to wake up the senses. So pickles, that's where that comes from, blistered, aged, smoked. It could be wild, not mild, or sour, which we're seeing in dressings, sauces, condiments. And you all know sweet fusion. So swicy is the little one in the media darling right now, sweet and spicy. But she has girlfriends, swalty and smoky. So swalty is sweet and salty, smoky is sweet and smoky. And actually, we also have noted that there is a fourth little girlfriend, and that is swangy. And swangy is sweet and tangy. So think of citruses or vinegars, that's swangy. You could in the middle be aiming more for psychological benefits. So is it heritage? Is it tapping into experiencing history? Nostalgia, like I said, is not comfort. Nostalgia is food or beverage tied to a time and place in history. Nostalgia is that food, but with some fabulous little twist. It could be rewarding, so indulgent textures, rich flavors, or luxe, affordable indulgences. And last, it could be physical you're going for. Is it textural, meaning foams, jellies, crunchy? It could be unexpected, a contrast that's really intriguing, or visually engaging. We've seen this in beverages a lot, but you can definitely have this in food. So bold colors and textures. I'm going to introduce you to affinity scales. This is an analytical method we use, and it's part of our yearly report. So this is going to be on sauces. So what this looks like, high affinity, when something comes on the scale, means it's easy to understand, easy to access, very approachable, familiar, and affordable. Low affinity means it could be a little difficult to understand or newer kid on the block, hard to access, like you can't get a hold of the item. It could be something where it's a global audience but a smaller audience, or it could be high cost. So we look at the high affinities. Here's your little sweet fusions. You also have regional barbecues, things coming in from Mexico, which is our neighbor. Some of the vinegars and fresh bold bright, which I love. So balsamic, blueberry salsas, different vinaigrettes. A little bit lower, you've got things like black garlic from Japan or items coming out of Korea, the Middle East, other items from Japan that are a little more approachable. So with your audience, you want to figure out, like, do you have a really experimental, like forward thinking audience? Then you might actually want to look at the lower items because they're a little bit newer, a little bit fresher. If you have a conservative clientele, you might want to play on the high end of the scale. But remember, so with our analytics, these are not static. These are moving in time. So in 1 year, this whole chart could be different, right? So things will move as things progress. Let's talk about beverage. We're going to talk about non-alcoholic first. So everything from non-alcoholic beers and spirits, functional, kombucha and fermented, and premium infused waters, and then mocktails or zero-proof cocktails. So what's showing up? With the non-alcohol craft beers and spirits is really high quality, complex alternates to the traditional beer, whiskey, gin, tequila. What they're doing is they're offering the depth of flavor without alcohol. If it's functional, it's really being infused with key items with specific focus. So adaptogens, nootropics, CBD, they're designed for relaxation or energy or clarity or gut health, but they have a specific function. They're not generic. With fermented drinks, it's really natural, tangy, probiotic rich drinks with unique flavor profiles that balance health benefits and bold flavors. And so just so everybody remembers, the difference is probiotics are bacteria. They're a good bacteria in the gut. Prebiotics are fiber. Prebiotics are the food of the probiotic gut bacteria. So if you want a really healthy diet, eat prebiotics, and then your gut can kind of take care of itself. With the premium waters, sparkling, mineral, or even still waters, but they're being infused with fruit, herbs, electrolytes, or other functional elements, and it could be for hydration, but also a sensory twist. And then in the zero proof cocktail, so it's crafted with bold syrups, botanical syrups, fresh ingredients, cool garnishes to mimic the depth and experience of traditional cocktails. So if we look at alcohol categories, from the craft beer cocktail crossovers, low ABV or sessions, heritage or sustainability. With beer, we're really looking at hyperlocal brews, experimental flavors, and innovative brewing techniques, and also ingredients. The crossover cocktails are really blurring those lines between spirits, beer, wine, and ready to drink, but with hybrid flavors. With the session, you're looking at balanced options with low alcohol content for moderation. This also plays into the zebra striping phenomenon, where consumers are within a session going alcohol, non-alcohol, alcohol, non-alcohol. These items play a big role here. Heritage and nostalgic are really classic or vintage inspired liquors with modern twists. And then sustainability, we're looking at eco-conscious brewing, distilling, and especially with upcycled ingredients. Our final thoughts. Consumers value authenticity and convenience, but they have a sense of adventure in their food and beverage choices. Elevated experiences make up the backbone of many trends. It doesn't always mean a higher cost. And then global flavors are still rising. So remember to watch travel, because travel influences the adventurous taste preferences. And don't forget, cross-tying or layering trends within a concept lengthens that concept's life cycle. And from us, Know the birth and life cycle of a trend prior to deciding to recommend it or enter it, so you can predict how to navigate it. And spend more time researching a trend's longevity and trajectory than worrying about your competitors. After all, they may be idiots. So that's a wrap. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like a copy of the full version of this presentation, just scan the QR code on the screen. It'll take you to a quick request form. And if you have any questions or just want to chat more about what we covered, feel free to reach out using any of the contact information I have here for you. I'd really love to connect. Thanks so much.